Okay, we are live. So awesome. Hey, Selina. So welcome. And welcome everyone for those of us who are joining. I'm going to check my Facebook from time to time through my phone, see if anybody has comments. So we're talking today about really chronic stress and how it manifests in the body and how it shows up. So if you suffer from headaches, migraines, what are some other physical symptoms of chronic stress that show up in the body?
Sometimes neck and sort of it can manifest with neck pain,
neck, lack of sleep, you know, you're just too much thoughts on the brain, all those things going on. I brought Selina on here because she helps people manage to have optimal health and optimal lifestyles, which was really what the empowered living method is all about. I'm bringing you guys the professionals to help you learn some new skills and tools to manage the stress in your life and to ease all the physical discomforts, to get rid of dis-ease, to lose weight, to become more in love with yourself and your body, to really start to do the work. And so all these fantastic professionals are going to help give new skills and tools. And Selina just happens to specialize in dealing with people who suffer from migraines, but you don't have to have a migraine to implement all the amazing skills and tools, because let's avoid the migraine, shall we? Selina, so introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and
Right.
you came to do this awesome.
So I'm a nutritional therapist. I grew up in France and in Africa and in Greece and developed a real love of food and realized that there was a lot of through sort of all the cultures I was sort of influenced by, realized that there was a very strong connection between how people live their lives, what they put on their plate, and how well they feel. Because you know, as I grew up in a sort of more farming community, we ate very much whatever came out in season at the time. And when I was a student, that wasn't what we did. And I sort of developed illnesses myself and realized that it was the change of lifestyle of living with a lot of stress, not looking after my sleep. Actually, I didn't think sleep was even a thing. I just thought it was something getting in the way of my ambition. And when I had children, I realized I had to bring those things back into my life. And that's when I went and studied nutrition. And I really, as having with a background as an entrepreneur, as a woman, I developed a sort of client base, mostly around women who work and who have their own businesses, and realized that we sometimes just have spinning too many plates, trying to keep too many things in the air, forget to look after ourselves, and that's when our health usually falls short. And sometimes it's a bigger hill to climb. A lot of problems with weight gain and hormone balance and things like that. And I really realized that you know, being a good weight and having good energy and feeling well is usually a factor of simply eating well and looking after ourselves in the most practical ways, in the most simple ways of self-care, really practicing self-care and remembering that we also matter and that we're the most important person in that equation of our business, our children, our husbands. If we don't function, we can't be part of those lives.
No, and it just happens. It's like, you know, with evolution of our life, as we, you know, get old, we get into a relationship, all of a sudden we have someone else to take care of. Like, we want to take care of our spouse and our boyfriends and our, you know, we love them. We want to do wonderful things for them. So that just takes away from 100. So if you were, you know, single, remember that beautiful single version of yourself where you just loved life and traveled and, you know, that was you putting all your time and energy and effort into you. And then came the boyfriend, and then you had to split that time and energy. So less went to you, a fraction went to them. And then, you know, your children come along and a little bit goes, you know, more goes to them. And then you multiply children, more goes to them. And then, you know, you have a career, there goes the rest of it. And we're literally now, we have nothing left. We're like in debt energetically. Like, and this is what happens to our body when we have no time and energy for ourselves. We're literally getting sick because we're taking energy from our physical selves. Like, we're tapped, we're in debt energetically, and we have to start pulling back from the people that we love. We love them, but that doesn't mean you love them less
Yeah.
when you start to having to give back to yourself. And so, what are the struggles that women really face that you deal with, Selina, in terms of like balancing life? Like,
I think that the most common thing that I see when I'm trying, the thing that sort of gets in the way of them getting better, of them putting in place some of the strategies and the plans and the nutritional kind of programs that I do for them, is usually just remembering to put themselves on their list and literally making that physical space for themselves in their calendar, in their life, in throughout the day. I just find that they put everyone else first. They know everybody else's needs. They can juggle those needs really, really well. And when it comes to them, there is just nothing left.
mm-hmm.
So then there may be compensation of go to bed a bit too late because there's the me time they're trying to squabble for. And by then it's a bit too late. When they wake up in the morning, they're already in debt for sleep, for energy, for things like that. So then there's a roller coaster that goes through the day, and that can really spin out of control quite badly.
And they're trying. We know you guys are trying. This is nothing new. You guys know this already. And this is the problem. The problem is that you know all of this already. In fact, but we're going to give you some really great nuggets today that's going to help you be able to shift and adjust the things that you know in a way that you're going to be able to implement them right away, because excuses aren't helping anymore. Like, we know, you're time constrained. We know all of that. And you're like, I can't do it. I don't know how. Just show me how. Just tell me how. We're desperate for, just tell me and I'll do it. But it's not so much about doing more. Ladies, you don't have to do more. What we need you to do is we need you to actually do less.
Yeah.
If you could wrap your brain about that. What the more you need to do is take time for yourself. And we're not talking a lot of time here. We can start in really small increments.
Really small increments. I mean, I was listening to somebody who was talking about that the other day, and she said something really, even 5 minutes, because it's like every kind of practice, 5 minutes. So if you even go and lie down on a yoga mat for 5 minutes every day, that's a practice. Once that's become a habit, that 5 minutes of lying down on a yoga mat can transform into a yoga practice. But right now, if you've just done that, you've had that win.
It's one small thing. And so this is the thing, is that, we get overwhelmed with all the things. Like, we have to do all the things. You don't have to do all the things. You don't actually have to do any of it. And we get caught up in a lot of comparison, right? Like, look at this person, how they like, I have to do it like that. They look like they're doing it easy. They do all these things in the morning. You don't know. You don't know the practice. You don't know what they had to work up towards to get to that, right? So if you are someone who struggles a lot from migraines, headaches, you have a lot of pain, you have a lot of disease, you're tired all the time, like you're just done and you're searching for solutions. Okay, implementing them is really, really important. So it's one thing to, I'm just giving you guys all of these suggestions and giving you all these different things that you could do. Just friggin' pick one and do it. Just pick one. Don't get overcomplicated. And this is another thing, and you can agree with me or not, Selina, is that successful, ambitious women, we are too much in our head, right? So we are too much masculine. We're too much go, do, task, should be doing this, have to be doing this. If we don't, it's not going to be perfect. Like, we're hard on ourselves. And that's success and ambitious, but that's a masculine drive. That's not natural in us, right? And so because we're so out of our natural divine feminine state, we have to get back to that feminine state. This is where the balance comes out of place. Stop feeling guilty for missing your kids' shit. go to your kids' stuff. If that's what's going to make you happy, figure out a way, take the time off work. Like you can do whatever you want. And one small thing, let's give it to them right now, because I think it's important that since we're already in it, what's the one small thing that I said to you, what do you want them to leave in all of this? And you said,
I want them to give themselves permission. You have to give yourself permission.
It comes from you. Nobody is going to tell you, give you, I mean, yourself is really all the cues, and he's like, oh, let me do for her because she's stressed. Beautiful. That's a man in touch with his femininity. Love that, because, you know, we need both. We need, you know, we need to be in our masculine, which is ambition. So women, some women are like, oh, I'm not ambitious. So you just learn how to take ass off when it's time, right? And so when you have a spouse who's in his divine masculine and can recognize and go into his divine feminine to love and support his wife when he sees that she's overly stressed and doing, God bless him. Do not give him up. Okay. So, but sometimes when we're overly in our divine masculine as women, we can hold our men in their feminine, and then there's polarity. Then we have to be able to switch and flow really through, right? So what were some of the lifestyle changes that you had suggested that they can start? And if you're following me and you're liking this, I see you on Facebook, I'm watching you. Give me some comments if you have questions.
I think some of the lifestyle changes that I've find, and especially now in COVID, it's been actually very interesting having those conversations with my clients. I quite like the idea of bookending your day with me time, even very short little things, the 5 minutes, the 10 minutes, having a little, you know, even if you get up a little bit earlier, like 10 or 15 minutes earlier in the morning, so you've got the time just to make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea for yourself in a quiet moment, and having that moment of reflection for yourself, just to be a beat ahead of everything rather than being on the back foot.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of the day, something that I find when you know it's the end of the day and you've done your things, go to the bathroom, have a shower, and take your time, you know, and come out and wear something wear something completely different, and step into that other part of the day where everything slows down. And I find bookending your day is a good way of framing things. So in the middle, it can get busy and things can get stressful and things can pop up and things can get changed and things can get, you know, have to suddenly rush somewhere because somebody needs you and you have to get it. So having those moments, and then including other members of your family with that, and they know mom's doing her meditation, or mom's having a bath, or it's mom's time to whatever she's doing that. And you do that, and everybody, and you'll be surprised how quickly everybody goes, yes, mom's, you know, doing her whatever it is. And those things, but they can be very small, just 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. But if you don't schedule them, they will never happen.
No, and that is a masculine thing, scheduling, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But that's okay, because we need to flow. So, and this is the thing, is that planning it is sometimes necessary. And even people plan sex, I know it's not the most spontaneous, but if you think you don't have time for sex with your spouse, there's a bigger problem there. So it doesn't have to be spontaneous. It can get spontaneous, but schedule it if you are time constrained. Okay? But the bookend I love, because what you're doing essentially is saying from whatever, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., you're working, you're ambitioning, you're careering, you're goaling, you're dreaming, you're doing whatever. But you have to get back to the me, the be, the feminine divine. You have to get back into your body. You have to get back into loving. You have to get back into nurturing. You have to get back, and that doesn't mean yell at your kids to clean the mess. It means lovingly doing it with them.
Yeah.
And someone with small kids were like, I can't get away from my kids. They're stuck to me like Velcro. I'm like, incorporate them. Say, this is mommy's time. This is what I'm doing. So if you want to spend time with mommy right now, this is what we're going to do. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Give them the choice, because they'll either say yes and they'll lie down on that yoga mat with you for 5 minutes, or who cares if they're climbing all over you and doing whatever they're doing or distracting you. Like, get out of your head and just get into your body.
Yeah.
That's the bookending that you're talking about, Selina. I love it. Is that, it's, you have to check into you, get back to being you. And those times, I'm a morning person, so I do all of that in the morning, right? I'm up at 5:30.
Yeah.
But some people are night owls, so they like to do that stuff at nighttime. So if you need that extra time in the morning to sleep in, take it. Take it. Have your shower at night. Do everything that you need to do to prepare. Do what, have that routine. And you said routine was huge. Have a routine that incorporates you, what you love, what's important to you, like the showers and the special little things. Like, when we don't incorporate that, it shows the lack of self-worth. It shows the lack of self-respect. It shows the lack of self-deservingness. It shows the lack of self-love.
Yes, and I think also from a mum's point of view, when you give yourself permission to do that and you take that time, you're also showing an example. You're giving your children.
We are the models.
Too. Yeah, and then they will learn that this is okay in life. You can do that. It's a normal thing to do, to have to take the time out and regenerate yourself or have a break and allow them that space when they need it. And when they're very small, you don't get that. But when they've got teenagers, they sometimes do, and have that. It's boundaries is something. The earlier we learn that, the better.
This is not about me first or you first. This is about me too.
Yeah.
You are just as important as your children's time, special time. You make special healthy meals for them. You got to make special healthy meals for you. Everybody should be eating the same thing.
Absolutely.
There should be and this is something I struggled with too when I worked in fitness for a long time. I was not going to eat something that I didn't put on the plate that my kids weren't going to eat. Right? I rarely ever do I make two separate things. Rarely ever, unless I was doing some detox or something like that. But options. If I put pasta on the table, I might put zucchini noodles. I might just put zucchini noodles, but it's there for everybody to eat. So the kids can eat the pasta, or they can eat the zucchini noodles. Like, it's you. It's not you before them. It's you too.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Remember that you're not. And the other thing too about is using your household resources. They're your resources. You work hard for them. Use them to make yourself feel good, feel better, look good, look better. And that's getting into the body too. Because if we ignore how we feel and how we look, then we're ignoring who we are essentially in our divine feminine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, the stress reduction is number one. I think that we take on so much because we have to. That's how life goes. You've got kids, you've got work, you've got all those things, right? But we're the leader. So be the role model. Your kids are going to follow suit. So if you don't live a healthy life or a lifestyle that you would want for your kids, you are the one that's going to change that, because you are programming right now. We have been programmed by our parents. You can see from generation to generation, like, who's meeting their husband at the door with martinis anymore? Nobody, right? I'd be like, I'm making martinis, honey. Would you like one? I'm not, we've gone from that place of service, right? Where we serve others first, to a place of collective enjoyment. It can't just be one person, but if it's, if you're putting your kids in a sport, okay, you got to be there, You have to be there to enjoy, and you have to give yourself the permission to make that happen in whatever way, shape, or form. Because if it's something that you can't be with your kids when you want to be with your kids, that's the problem. You could be too much in your masculine and fighting against really what was it's important for you. I went through that with my first marriage. I had kids and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to go back to work. I didn't want, and I fought it and fought it and fought it and fought it in ways in which trying to start a business, you know, and all I wanted to do was just to be home with my kids. And I fought it thinking I should be working, I should be doing this, and I should be doing that. And it created so much. Be real with yourself, be honest with yourself. Like if you really want to be a homemaker, be with your kids, stay at home mom, there's nothing wrong with that. Honor that choice and decision. Like it's not a very natural, innate thing in us. But if you also want to contribute to society and you also want to have a job and you also want to have a career, you have to bookend your day, like Selina says, to allow yourself the other part.
Yeah. But I think even when you're mummying and you've made that life to be a stay-at-home mum, which can be extremely demanding as well, sometimes you don't even know, you know, when you work, you know that somewhere there's a little bit of place where you deserve to reward yourself. And sometimes when you stay at home and you're being being a mom, it's seamless. There is never a moment of things, you know, start and finish, and creating that time is also very important. I think it's important for all women to really, because you know what, I was talking about my husband the other day and I said, but when you've had a really long, hard day at work, you stop on the way home from work at the pub. We live in England, and you know, well, not recently, we're locked down, but at the pub, meet up your friends, have one drink, let off some steam, have a good moment, come home. And you never thought for 1 minute, oh, who's looking after the kids during that time? And you've worked hard that day. You've been in the office for a long, you know, since you left home really early. You're right. You deserve that. Now, I bet there's not very many women who would just do that at the drop of a hat without even thinking twice.
Yeah, no, they have to arrange parenting. They have to arrange that, because that's the programming that we've been through for so long, that it's starting to break, and women are starting to come out of the shell, because we're getting sick, we're getting migraines, we're getting, you know, disease, we're getting weight, we're getting all these physical problems of chronic stress, because we are not, but here's the other thing, we're not doing the things we need to wind down from our day, especially from mothering, right? So if you're a stay-at-home mom and your job is to parent, which is a thankless job until your children grow up to have their own children, and then they show appreciation. It's a thankless job, no pay raise, no pay. It's giving, 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 giving. We, you know, this is why we need to, you know, find the times for ourselves before they wake up. So if you have to get up early, or put them to bed early, and then you'll have time after they go to bed. We're not like men, so maybe you want to blow steam off. That's okay. But there's something that you want to do instead that you can do, whether it be go meet your friend for a walk at the end of the day, or meet your girlfriends, you know, once a month for the weekend, where, you know, then you get to really blow off some steam. It's like 3 full days of, you know, drinking, laughing, walking, crying, you know, whatever you're doing, right? And it's the little ways in which you take that time for you throughout the day. But nourishing your body and moving your body are literally the game changers, right there. And so, you know, what kind of programs do you put together for people, Selina, in terms of, like, you know, supporting?
Well, the way I work with people in general is my programs are very personalized. So when I work with a functional medicine model. So when I meet somebody for the first time, I'm going to go through the entire family and personal health history to just to know their health story. And the two people who are the same age coming to me with the same, you know, problem might not get the same plan.
Right.
because they don't necessarily have the same lifestyle, they don't necessarily have the same story and the same things to rebalance and put back into place. I think one of the cornerstones is making sure that their sleep is good and at the right time for their circadian rhythm, and good quality sleep. Without that, there's not very much we can do, because very often as women, we rely on willpower for things, and willpower will only take you so far. If you don't have the energy, there's going to be a point where your biological needs are going to take over. If you're tired, sugar, and you're going to eat sugar. And even if sugar gives you a headache or gives you a tummy ache or makes you put on weight, you're just going to eat it, because that's just not realistic to expect us to, be in control all the time.
What does good sleep look like? Like, what would you recommend? What does...
I would say good sleep it depends on the person. It's going to bed at the right time for you. So we have a window of opportunity where our body sleep mechanism kicks in. So some people, as you said earlier, are morning people, some people are evening people, some people, their normal time for going to bed is midnight. For others, the ideal time for going to bed is maybe 9 o'clock. But at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're full of energy. So it's recognizing what your natural kind of rhythm is. And sometimes you have to go back to childhood and say, how were you? Because we tend to be formatted sometimes by the expectations. The 8-hour thing, it doesn't really mean that much. It's a very average thing. Some people are completely refreshed. If they get 6 hours of good sleep, they wake up and they're full of energy through the day. Other people need more than that. But the rule of thumb is, if you don't wake up rested and you need some form of prop like caffeine to wake you up, then there's something that didn't work in your sleep. So you didn't sleep well. And sometimes it's not duration, it's really quality. And there are things in our lives like caffeine and alcohol and things like that will completely that will mess with our deep sleep, the most restorative part of our sleep, and we'll lose out on that. So we might have been in bed for the right number of hours, but we're not rested.
Right. Now, is it possible that caffeine can just fall into a habit as opposed to really feeling the need that you need that oomph? Because I drink it every morning, but I'm like, I don't drink it for the oomph. I just drink it because I love to drink it.
Yeah.
I'm fired up when I wake up in the morning, right? Like 5:30 I have to struggle to stay in bed. That's the thing.
But that's your normal natural energy.
Yes.
I think the thing is, if you're having a coffee that early in the morning and you're not having coffee for the rest of the day, by the time you're going to bed, really that has been burnt and used up.
Right.
I'm talking more of the people who, after lunch, they have the slump, they need the caffeine. That coffee, by the time they go to bed, half of that coffee is still in their nervous system.
Okay.
They might fall asleep because they're exhausted, but actually they're not getting the sleep quality. And I cannot tell you the number of people I work with. I've got quite a few Italian clients, and I've taken some of them off coffee, and they've men who said to me, my life's changed.
Really?
Really, it's like they're completely, their sleep has changed so much. Everything else came together. Because when you slept well, you make good decisions for your breakfast. If you make good decision for your breakfast, your blood sugar levels are actually going to be pretty stable through the day. So you're not going to get those cravings. You're not going to need the muffin and the latte halfway through the day.
How accurate are Fitbits?
With regards to
sleep,
there are not, the recent research I've looked at, there aren't very many devices that are actually that accurate with sleep. It's actually very difficult to create devices that accurate with sleep. I tend to use very few apps and very few tech bits. I rely more on, how do you feel? Do you feel rested when you wake up? How is your energy through the day?
Right.
If you can't keep your energy steady through the day, and also there are other people who have got more what I call Mediterranean types. They like to wake up very early in the morning. They like to go to bed at night. They've got good energy, but they need a break in the day, and they need to have, and if you live in a lifestyle where you can have a 20-minute nap in the middle of the day, and the rest of the time, why not? It's just what I find is that very often people cheat themselves. They say, oh yeah, I have this energy slump at the end of the day, but then my energy comes back. It doesn't. It's not your energy that's come back. Your cortisol levels have risen and you've got a second breath, but it's just your body trying to cope.
Right.
Not listening to your cues.
Right.
I mean, you get up at 5:30 in the morning. What time do you feel you're tired in the evening?
I'm usually pretty much done by 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't have any coffee at that point, but I can see that by 3 o'clock, and usually by 9:30, I'm in bed. Like,
Yeah.
I don't struggle to stay awake. But now that it's lighter, because some longer days, I am finding myself awake, not as tired. And then I'll look at my watch and be like, oh my gosh, it's 9:30.
But that's biologically normal.
Yes. Yeah. But for the most part, like, I follow the sun. When the sun is down, I'm tired. Like,
But that's what our master clock follows that. That's
yes.
so that's completely natural. I think it's natural to need a little bit. I mean, particularly the latitudes where we live, quite northern with extremely long days in summer and very, very short days in winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I think we're not machines. We're not robots.
No. And yet we need to fuel ourselves as though we are, right? Because we are essentially a machine. Our body functions optimally when we feed it proper nutrition, we get the proper sleep. Like, if we treat it like a machine, it will run better, right? Like, especially dogs, like we treat our dogs and feed our dogs better, like, our plants, you wouldn't put, you know, you're not going to feed your plant. Wow. You're not going to put salt in your plant. Don't put it in your body. So, there's a lot of different things. Like, when you start to see the way you take care of other things and how we need to treat ourselves the same way, that once because you've done this already, because any woman who is over the age of 25 has tried to lose 5 pounds some way, shape, or form, right? So I hope over 25. So, right, at some point, you're struggling. So that diet and exercise is key to optimal health. Anytime we bump into somebody who's lost weight, we're like, so what did you do? They're like, diet and exercise. It's like, this is not something new. This is why I don't like to talk about diet and exercise so much, because you already know what you need to do. What else can we do? Like, that will give us the energy to want to come home from work and make dinner when we're already tired, right? So, like, prepping the food beforehand, small amounts of planning goes a long way.
A long way.
And
I mean, it removes so much decision making at a time of the day where there's nothing left of us.
No. And so then when you open your fridge and you're like, oh my gosh, I already did it. Oh, you'll love yourself even more, because you're like, I was smart enough to foresee that I'm too tired to cook by Thursday night. And Friday night, forget it. That's just going out to eat night. Chalk that up to, or someone else is cooking. And hopefully, your kids will get to the age where you could be like, by the way, Friday night, you guys cook on Friday night. Whatever you want. Oh God.
But you're cooking.
But you're cooking. And whether it's, or you want to use your allowance to buy a pizza because you don't want to cook, that's totally up to you. But you're cooking, because we've done it all week. We're tired. Like, this is the permission, giving yourself permission to.
And asking for help. I mean, why are we so bad at asking for help?
I don't know. Why are we so bad at asking other people for help? And there's so many things. Like, imagine, like, let's think of an idea. Like, right now, like, create a tribe, create somebody where, everybody cooks once a week with 4 friends. You have a meal share.
Yeah. Yes.
You have a meal, a dinner every night of the week that you don't have to cook, because you cooked all day, 5 meals for 5 families one day.
I would say definitely. You know what? If you're a mom with young children, little children, and you've got friends, you've got little children the same age, that is a fantastic thing to do, because how silly it is to find yourself at home with a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old who can't make conversation with you, standing there. You made them food, now you're just waiting for them to finish so you can clean up, maybe eat the leftovers. But and whereas if there's four, when you're cooking for 2 kids that age, it's the same to cook for 4, 5, or 6 of them actually. And now you've got company who're going to help you clean up and might even have a glass of wine with you. Now you've only got 1 kitchen to clean, and you're only doing that every 4 days.
I always got together with a lot of moms in my early, when my kids were really small. And it was the best times, right? Like you just, you know, there's camaraderie, there was commonality, there was just like everybody just surviving with toddlers at the time and just having fun. And that was divine feminine at its finest. Just kids playing, moms, you know, doing whatever they were doing, even if we were complaining, like it didn't matter. It was supporting each other. This is where we need the support. So you're either asking for help, paying for it, or, you know, sitting down and having some serious conversations with your spouse and your children about giving yourself the permission that you don't have to do it all. Like there's responsible people. You know, if we were all separate, we would be responsible for ourselves. They would be responsible for themselves. So you have to pool resources.
And the thing is that they love helping. If it's a chore, if you give them chores, they don't like them. But if you call it help
and make it fun,
and I really need your help, they're like, what can I do for you?
Yes. No, believe it or not, there's actually children's love languages where, you know, they have, if you know about love languages, how we have a specific love language, children actually, you can figure out their own love language. And so my one daughter is quality time. So honestly, as long as I sit with her in the kitchen, I'm like, hey babe, you do the dishes, or you bake a cake, I'm going to do the dishes. Like whatever it is, as long as we're together doing something, she's my buddy because she likes the quality time. My other one, she's a little bit more high maintenance. She's a little bit more needy along the board, right? And so, but she is obedient. Like if I ask her to do something, she'll do it without a lot of huff and puff. Mm-hmm. So knowing how your kids work, how your spouse works, how they tick, that will help make your life a lot easier too, because you're not guessing how to communicate with them or ask them or talk to them. You can speak their language and you can give them the things that they need in the way that they need them.
Yeah, it's finding that I have one like you, and I've got one, it's like, we're a team. We're a team. As soon as the word team is there, it's like, okay, yeah, we're a team. What am I supposed to do? I want to be in the team.
Yes, right? Everybody has their position, right? You do this, we work together, it gets done. And if this seems like lofty, if this seems like, oh, whatever, okay, I get that you're not there yet or you're not on board, but keep doing what you're doing and, you know, keep putting it off and complaining about it. And then we'll talk in a year or so from now when you're up to here, you're Selina because you have major migraines, you're, you know, completely miserable, like, because it will get worse before it gets better. Like if nothing changes, nothing changes. So start with something small, a 5-minute routine. I like to call them like little ceremonies, your own little ritual, something, even if it's just eating a dark piece of chocolate at the end of the day, that's going to give you that body bliss, pleasure, one thing, one beautiful, loving gift you can give yourself to just turn off your brain, get into your body and just chill.
Another idea is like after you've had a shower, just moisturize, like from top to toe. Just take 5 minutes to
love yourself. Love yourself.
It's a few minutes. It doesn't take long, and you feel so pampered afterwards. And all you've done is slap on a bit of anything.
Really. Moisturizer can be that simple, but when you do it with an intention of ritual or ceremony, or this is for me, loving me, doing something nice for me, taking 5 minutes out, like crap, I wish I should teach my kid, here, rub lotion on my arm. Get them here. Mommy needs to put lotion on my arm. Rub lotion on my arm. They'll do it. Honey, can you put lotion on my body? I'm telling you right now. Women are so caught up in how they look and not feeling sexy and not wanting to have sex with their husbands. They don't care. They have a warm-blooded naked woman in their bed. They don't give a crap. Like get them to rub your lotion on you. They'll be in heaven. Maybe it will lead to something else that could be lacking in that area as well. But trust me when I tell you, even do something beautiful, loving for yourself. Get your family involved if you feel you can't just do that for yourself. Figure out a way to get them involved so that you're not feeling like you're, completely disconnecting from them. But it's not the worst thing in the world to connect, to disconnect and just connect with you. It's really not. It actually is going to make you a better mom. It's going to make you happier. It's going to make you a better wife. It's going to make you a better employee. It's going to make you a better human because you're not going to be walking around miserable all the time, snapping at people, right? So many small ways that we can, incorporate, these wonderful tips is exactly bookending your day. Like it's so simple, but so beautiful that you can just improve your health, your life in some little simple way every day. Compounds every day, 5 minutes every day. So this is a challenge. I'm going to challenge you guys to doing something small for yourself, 5 minutes every day. I'm going to put it in the group. It's a 5-minute daily self-love, self-ritual challenge. And let's see if we can do it for 7 days, right? We'll do a 7-day, 5-minute self-love, self-giving, self-nurturing challenge. Selina, are you in?
Absolutely. I'd love to
help me. You're going to help me run it. You're going to help me lead it.
That would be great. Love that.
And then let's do that, and then put it in your group too, and we'll do it. We'll
do that.
We'll group it together. So if you guys are in, let me know, and then we'll do that every day, 5 minutes a day. Do something, and your suggestions can help us too. Like I've got all my own ideas that I do for myself, but I love to learn new different things too. So in this group, if we can share and bounce ideas off each other, then we'll have a bigger bank of resources of things that we can do for ourselves. Okay? Sound good? You in? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Selina. Did you want to throw out your lead magnet as a resource?
Yeah.
Right. So anybody who suffers from migraine, I'm going to put the resource in the comments, or Selina, you can just add it in the comments. Selina has a resource, a free gift for us. So if you suffer from migraines, she has ways in which you can combat that, or headaches. Take advantage of that, and then we'll leave it at that. And so thanks so much, Selina.
Thank you.
Here. I appreciate it. And so don't go anywhere. I'm going to sign off from Facebook. And thanks for watching, you guys. I saw some eyeballs pop in and out. So if you've got any further questions or you're watching the replay, just let us know and we'll respond. Bye.